Well, at this point, you may start wondering what all this subtle metaphysics has to do with the Hamantaschen. Wait and see. Recall that Hamantaschens are in the form of a triangle. I will now show first that equilateral triangles are impossible, and that, as a result, too, no triangle is possible. I mean, equilateral is a horrible word. I don't know, why is it so difficult to pronounce it? I mean, for God's sake, I mean, it's the name of a triangle, not of God. I mean, Now, imagine a nice, cozy, and friendly equilateral triangle. Oh, that's good. Now, let's call this triangle Fred. Okay? Now, Fred has 3 equal sides. We need to name these 3 sides. We can name them Peter, Paul, and Mary, or perhaps Almo, Cookie Monster, and Spiggy. But I think that for our current purpose, it would be much more apt to name them Avram, Yitzchak, and Yankov. These are what the Gentiles call Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the Zionists, Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Well, we'll be content with the Jewish names. Now, here's a crucial question. How are Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov distinguished from each other? Namely, by virtue of what fact Avram is not Yitzchak, Yitzchak is not Yankov, and Yankov is not Avram. Remember that all we know about these 3 guys, they are the 3 equal sides of the same triangle, Fred. And obviously, the property of being one of the sides of Fred cannot distinguish them one from the other, since they share it in common. So why are they different from each other? Well, perhaps we should say each of them has some special and unique qualities. Perhaps you'd like to suggest a distinction like the following. Avram is a distinguishedly righteous side of a triangle. Yitzchak is a distinguishedly pious side of a triangle, and Yankov a distinguishedly acute side of a triangle. Lo and behold, for this is a monstrous heresy, an apikoros mamash. When you say that Avram is a distinguishedly righteous side of a triangle, you dare to imply that Yitzchak and Yankov are, God forbid, not as righteous? Or when you say that Yitzchak is a distinguishedly pious side of a triangle, do you dare to imply that Avram and Yankov are not as pious? Chalila v'chos. How can one tolerate such a thought at all? How can one tolerate such a heresy? Next time, you'll dare to say that the Lubavitcher Rebbe was not the Messiah, Hashem Yirochem. Hence, we must affirm that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yankov are all righteous, all pious, and all acute. And that they are equally righteous, equally pious, and equally acute. But now, as the Talmud is said, Hadar Pushel Duchte, that is, the difficulty returns to its original place. How could Avram, Yitzchak, and Yankov be distinguished from each other? In fact, it is easy to see right now that we can iterate this proof, and that there cannot be any difference between the 3 sides. For otherwise, how could the 3 sides be equal sides? In other words, how could Fred be Kuchabrichu? How could this triangle be equilateral? But if Avram, Yitzchak, and Yankov are not distinguished from each other, then, according to the identity of indiscernibles, the 3 sides are identical to each other. And therefore, Fred, the figure at stake, is really just one single side. whatever name you give it, which merely has the illusory appearance or perhaps pretends to be a triangle. Obviously, the same holds for any other equilateral triangle. I hereby conclude that we have just proven that there are no equilateral triangles and therefore no Hamantaschen. QED. Now, a small addition, one may object to our exemplary proof by arguing that though it shows that there are no equilateral Hamantaschen, it is still possible there are some horrible Hamantaschen in the form of other triangles. Well, don't be afraid. Well, this is simply a non-starter. Let me be clear and blunt. There are no triangles, neither obtuse nor acute, neither right nor isoscale. None of the above is conceivable, none is possible, none is actual. The intricate details of this proof appear in a footnote of my forthcoming work, Kritik der geschmutzige Vernunft, namely critique of the dirty reason. I won't bother you with the difficult details of this proof, but the principle is really rather simple. Well, here's how it goes. Okay, so here how the proof goes. Well, we just show that equilateral triangles are impossible. Now I'm going to assume that equilateral triangles are the most perfect triangles, which seems to be obvious because, their sides are equal, right? And then second assumption, it's an assumption accepted by most rationalist philosophers, and that's that the more perfection a thing has, the more reality belongs to it. That's an assumption, for example, that Spinoza adopts in part 1 of his Ethics. From 1 and 2, we can clearly conclude that if equilateral triangles are not real, then no other triangle is real. Now, we have already shown that equilateral triangles are not real, hence we can conclude, 4, that no triangles are real, and hence 5, there are no Hamantaschens. QED, Abit Yontov.